Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Security tightened in Delhi ahead of Independence Day celebrations. Prime Minister Modi greets Pakistan on its Independence Day. Controversy breaks out over evicting former servicemen from protest sites in Delhi. Rahul Gandhi seeks a deadline from the Prime Minister on implementing one rank, one pension promise. After the monsoon session, it's politics over disrupting Parliament. The BJP targets Rahul Gandhi as the Congress blames ruling party for disregarding democratic principles. The RBI to pay 66,000 crores to the central government, its biggest dividend payment in its 80-year history. And Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras overcomes internal rebellion to secure approval for a new 85 billion euro bailout. European ministers to debate the deal in Brussels. Our top story this evening, the protest demanding the implementation of one rank, one pension scheme for ex-servicemen gained a political hue as Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi joined the agitating pensioners. Its implementation was a major poll promise for the BJP, but over a year has passed without the government making any announcement. With threat of widespread hunger strikes from the protesters, will the government give in?
Ex-servicemen protesting for the implementation of the one rank, one pension scheme being forcefully removed from their protest site in the national capital. But they have vowed to continue the agitation even if they have to do it from jail.
हम गवर्नमेंट को बार-बार आग्रह कर रहे हैं, रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और यही है हमारा अनुशासन का लेवल। हम चुपचाप हंगर स्ट्राइक पर बैठे हैं।
उन्होंने पूरी कोशिश की है। हमने बता दिया था खाकी ड्रेस वालों को, कृपा करके हमारे पर हाथ मत उठाना। हम एक बड़े 61 डे से बड़े शान से बैठे हुए हैं। हम कोई भी हंगामा, कोई मार्च नहीं करते हैं। उन्होंने बड़ी अच्छी तरह सुना है और उन्होंने हमारा साथ दिया है। मैं पूरा बताता हूं, वो इस दोनों स्टेजेस को नहीं हिला पाएंगे। हम जो बैठे हैं सैनिक, हम पूरा साथ देंगे और हम इस स्टेज से नहीं हिलेंगे।
After facing a lot of flack, Delhi police subsequently called off the eviction exercise and let the protesters continue their demonstrations.
You see, normally before August 15, whosoever is sitting on Dharna, we always request them to move away for a day. Their leaders spoke to me and I permitted them to continue with their Dharna, and there is absolutely no problem, and they are now sitting peacefully.
The protesting ex-servicemen also found support from Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Joining the protesters, Rahul asked the government to come good on its promise.
हिंदुस्तान की सरकार ने वायदा किया है, वो वायदा पूरा होना चाहिए। प्राइम मिनिस्टर को करना चाहिए। जो टेक्निकलिटीज की बात है, वो कहने से पहले सोचनी थी, कहने के बाद नहीं सोचनी थी। अब वो डेट चाहिए, हमें डेट चाहिए इन लोगों को।
इंडिपेंडेंस डे के लिए वो सुरक्षा के लिए खतरा है। जिन लोगों ने हमें इंडिपेंडेंस दिलाई, आज वो सुरक्षा के लिए खतरा हो गए। ये तो गलत बात है। प्रधानमंत्री जी से निवेदन करता हूं कि जो इतने दिनों से इन लोगों की डिमांड है, कल लाल किले से वो घोषणा करें कि वन रैंक वन पेंशन की उनकी डिमांड को मंजूर किया जाता है।
The government has, however, reiterated that the scheme will be implemented, but has refused to give a definite time frame.
Elect government, that government has to do it during his tenure, and we will do it quite early. I'm not saying at the end of the tenure, but there are technical difficulties.
4 former service chiefs have also written to the president, urging him to intervene, saying a delay in rolling out of the scheme is a danger to the political and military ethos of the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And we're joined by Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad to help us understand. Lieutenant General Prasad, this is a long-standing issue. The fact that the ex-servicemen have been protesting also for a while now. And where do you see the resolution? Because now the political game is also on as far as this issue is concerned. So how do you see this panning out?
Well, it's the most shameful day for any country like ours, which is a democracy. Do you realize who are the people who are sitting there? The people who are sitting there are the ones who kept India together and Kashmir with India in 1947. These are the people who fought the battles of Asal Uttar and Khem Kharan. These are the people who got 90,000 prisoners and liberated Bangladesh from Pakistan. These are the people who went for Gujarat earthquake. These are the people who went there for tsunami. These are the people who went there for Kashmir earthquakes. These are the people who have thrown out the ingress from Kargil of Pakistan. And these are the people today whose police is doing boxing with, throwing their tents away. What a shameful day for the country. On the one hand, the government is repeatedly announcing very, very proudly that we're going to rewrite the history of all these wars, 65, 71, and highlight the contribution made by the armed forces in keeping India secure. And today, you find a spectacle that there the military is being pushed around by the police. At whose behest, at whose orders, I have no idea. But it was an amazing sight. On one side of the television screen I was watching, there is army activity to remove an IED bomb from a railway track this morning. And on the other hand, the same guy is being pushed around. Do you realize the man, the elderly fellow whose shirt has been torn today? Right. He was wearing medals here. Some policeman came and pulled his medal and tore his shirt, hurt his eye. Can we believe it? I mean, I don't understand what is behind all this. The details of the issue are very clearly known to not only one political party, but every single political party.
So what is the hassle in the, Lieutenant General Prasad, what's the hassle in implementing it? Because as you know, everybody is aware and everybody it seems is in agreement that it should be implemented.
Yeah, but I want to know why it is not being implemented. The Prime Minister is a fantastic administrator, statesman, globally accepted, and he says it will be done. But what is that force which is preventing him from doing it? Is it some internal forces or is it some external hand? I really don't know. What is the objective? Are we trying to make the armed forces weak of this country so that this country becomes weak? Who's playing all this? I mean, the Prime Minister is a very, very knowledgeable person. He understands all this, perhaps the finest statesman we've ever had. But who is pushing this agenda? I don't understand. Are we going to have another Jallianwala Bagh when the police, like General Dyer, shot up the civilians of India? Are these people at that level? The gentleman whose shirt has been torn had a great part to play in liberating Bangladesh and getting 90,000 prisoners. Those people who are being pushed around went to Gujarat for earthquake. Those are the people that have been beaten up by police and their tents taken down are the people who threw the Kargil people out. These are all the pensioners. These are not the ones who are serving today. And the nation is proud of them. The government is proud of them.
Lieutenant General Prasad, but the argument that is often given is that if it is implemented just for the armed forces, then what about the paramilitary forces? What about the bureaucracy? Because there are a whole host of structures that are similar to the army as well.
That's the position that the government should have thought about. And I make the last very critical point. I just want to tell you today, if the government is going to say, sorry, we cannot do it, we made a mistake, let them announce tomorrow morning, sorry, we are not giving OROP. Please don't go on telling us that it is coming, we are determined to give it, we are committed to give it, we will give it. All what these people are saying, if you are going to give it, say you will give it by 2nd October. Say we'll give it by 1st January. And if you don't give it by that date, or if it doesn't happen, we will resign from the government. Statement, this dharna will go away. I can assure you of that. But the point is if you don't want to give it, then say tomorrow morning from ramparts of Red Fort, sorry guys, we are not going to give it to you. Go back home and die whatever you're getting. If you're getting half a chapati, so be it. If your limbs have been broken in war, so be it. I'm sorry, we're not going to give it. We made a mistake announcing it. That's it. Why are you keeping us in a lurch? Why are you telling every morning it is happening? I just heard the defense minister on your channel saying we are determined to give it, we are committed to give it. Are Baba, when? Please give us a date. All these fellows who are sitting there are asking only one simple question. Give us a date. 15th August, 2nd October, 25th Christmas Day, New Year's Day, next budget day. But if it doesn't happen, please say today that your government will resign. Or say today that, sorry, we are not giving it. Why are we going on treating these people like this? Why have we got these people sitting on hunger strike for 60 days?
All right, we'll have to leave it over there, Lieutenant General Prasad. Thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand and sharing your perspective as far as the implementation of one rank, one pension is concerned. Extreme pressure being put on the government, and let's see whether this can happen or not. But thank you very much for coming in, Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad. Well, moving on now, tight security arrangements have been made ahead of the 69th Independence Day. Anti-riot squad and rapid action forces line the streets as preparations for Independence Day are underway. Border security forces too have stepped up patrolling on the line of control amid terror threats.
Hours before the 69th Independence Day celebrations, security arrangements have been put in place. Extra vigil has been mounted at all key installations and government offices in the capital. As the procedure requires, the entire route from India Gate to the Red Fort, from where the Prime Minister will address the nation, has been sanitized. Security forces with snipers have been posted at high-rise buildings to keep a hawk eye on any suspicious activity.
All kinds of arrangements will be in place, and in all communication setup will be in place. Everybody will be on wireless network, and not only this area like railway and metro, they will all stations, they will be on high alert also. In this area like there is Rashtrapati Bhavan, PM House and all ministries, and they all are under high alert.
Security personnel in all states are on alert, conducting a thorough search of all vehicles crossing checkpoints. CCTV cameras have also been installed in many places. With a number of infiltration attempts and recent attacks in Gurdaspur and Udhampur, forces in Jammu and Kashmir are taking steps to thwart any militant activity.
सिक्योरिटी अरेंजमेंट्स फुल प्रूफ होंगे 15 अगस्त के लिए, और क्योंकि ये तो हमारा रिस्पांसिबिलिटी है सिविल मैडम की, पुलिस की, कि हम लोगों की जान माल की तहफ़्फ़ुज़ करें, तो हमने नाके लगा दिए हैं हर जगह। वहाँ पर मजिस्ट्रेट्स पुलिस अलर्ट पे है। हम चाहते हैं कि लोग अमन की तरफ, शांति की तरफ जाए।
स्वतंत्रता दिवस के अवसर पर कहीं कोई अप्रिय वारदात न हो, किसी आतंकवादी की घटना न हो, इसके लिए मुख्यालय की तरफ से स्पेशल अलर्ट जारी किए गए हैं, और उनको हमारे यहाँ से, इस कार्यालय से, सभी जो फील्ड ऑफिसर्स हैं, कमांडेंट्स हैं, सेक्टर DIGs हैं, उनको भेजा गया है।
An alert has also been sounded in 4 northeastern states after separatist rebels announced a boycott of Independence Day celebrations. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
And on its 69th Independence Day, Pakistan stressed it is necessary to resolve the Kashmir dispute, among others, to ensure normal and cooperative relationship with India. Pakistan's High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, said that the country will back the Kashmiris in what he termed was a legitimate struggle for freedom. His remarks comes just days before the 2 NSAs of the countries meet in Delhi.
Ahead of NSA-level talks scheduled to take place later this month, Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit once again raked up the Kashmir issue. In his address on Friday, Basit said Pakistan will not abandon the Kashmiris fighting for freedom. He stressed that the decade-old issue needs to be sorted out first to ensure a peaceful neighborhood.
जम्मू और कश्मीर का जो मसला है, वो हम मुज़ाकरात से उसको हल करें कि जब तक कश्मीरियों को उनका हक़ खुद इरादियत नहीं मिल जाता, पाकिस्तान उनकी हिमायत जारी रखेगा। आज़ादी की जो जद्दोजहद है, उसमें कई साल भी लग जाते हैं, और कभी कभार दिहाइयाँ गुजर जाती हैं, और कभी कभार सदियाँ भी गुजर जाती हैं। हम कश्मीरियों को खिराज तहसीन पेश करते हैं, जिन्होंने अपनी जद्दोजहद को बरकरार रखा हुआ है, और पाकिस्तान का साथ उनके साथ हमेशा रहेगा।
The remarks come at a time when there has been noticeable increase in the number of ceasefire violations. Even on its Independence Day, Pak forces fired upon Indian posts twice since Thursday night. Basit's remarks drew sharp criticism from political parties, terming Kashmir as an internal affair.
वो लड़ते रहेंगे 1000 बरस भी, तो भी उनको कुछ मिलने वाला है। तो इसलिए पाकिस्तान को अपनी दुकान बंद करनी चाहिए और अपने देश के और देश की जनता का उत्थान के लिए तमाम एनर्जी लगानी चाहिए। वो खुद आराम से रहें और हमको भी आराम से रहने दें।
Government and a proper lawful machinery to take care of that. Some of the separatists who have never had any public support try to make this emotional comment to make themselves relevant. But the people of Jammu and Kashmir are always away from them. You have seen how the voting was there in the last elections.
पाकिस्तान उच्चायोग कई इस तरीके की स्टेटमेंट्स देता रहा है जो कि हाईली डेट्रीमेंटल है, और जहां तक सवाल कश्मीर का है, हमें उनको बिल्कुल साफ तौर से बता देना चाहिए कि हम उनका किसी भी तरीके का इंटरफेरेंस बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
The 2 NSAs will meet on the 23rd of this month, where issues like terrorism are likely to be raised. It will happen in the backdrop of 2 major terror strikes recently. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif arrived in Delhi last night for his first trip to the country after Iran struck a nuclear deal with the West. Zarif called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Mohammad Ahmed Ansari, and held meetings with several other senior ministers, including his counterpart Sushma Swaraj. Soon after the Zarif-Modi meeting, External Affairs Ministry tweeted about the continued engagement between the two nations. In the meetings, key bilateral issues of trade and investment were discussed. The talks also focused on strengthening connectivity through Indian investments in Iran and boosting the supply of oil from Iran. Zarif also met Shipping Minister Nitin Gadkari, who had visited Tehran in May when the two had inked an agreement to develop the Chabahar port on Iran's southeastern coast. The strategically important port would provide India a sea-land access route to Afghanistan bypassing Pakistan.
It's a number of areas where we have discussed. Rail link is one of them. Engaging in greater cooperation in Chabahar, petrochemicals and other areas. There is a whole range of possibilities that we have been discussing, and I believe there is a commitment on both sides, on India and Iran, to engage in those and expedite implementation.
For economic growth, cooperation, coordination, and by taking cooperation in many fields from Iran, and we can also contribute to that. It can be a great thing for win-win.
Well, time for a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, wholesale inflation plunges to a historic low after a sharp fall in vegetable and fuel prices. More on that on the other side.
Today we bring to you the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013.
The amendments which have come in this particular bill, they are pretty much targeting the bribe givers in terms of corporate houses.
Care should be taken so that honest civil servants are able to discharge their duties.
The whole framework of the Prevention of Corruption Act has been weakened.
Watch Law of the Land Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. And now the monsoon session might be over, but there is no let-up in the rhetoric over the disruptions in Parliament. While the Congress launched another offensive claiming that the ruling party delayed a discussion on the controversial issues, the BJP chose to target its Vice President Rahul Gandhi.
Congress launched another offensive against the NDA government. The party accused the BJP of working against the principles of democracy and putting undue pressure on the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. It also said the responsibility for the washout of the monsoon session lies with the ruling party.
बीजेपी को न तो विश्वास है लोकतंत्र पे और न ही कंसेंसस पे विश्वास है और न ही वो किसी भी अपोजिशन पार्टी का जो व्यू पॉइंट उसको समझने के लिए, उसको एकोमोडेट करने के लिए, उसको मानने के लिए कोई इच्छा वो नहीं रखते हैं।
हाउस चलाने के मूड में वो और वो हमारे ऊपर चोर वो क्या बोलते हैं ना
उल्टा चोर कोतवाल
ये ऐसा हिसाब है कर रहे तो वो और बोल रहे हमारे ऊपर।
Congress once again demanded an apology from the Finance Minister and External Affairs Minister for dragging former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's name into the Bofors scam and Bhopal gas leak issue. It also passed the buck to the BJP on disruption of parliamentary proceedings.
सदन में तो स्पीकर सुप्रीम होती है और उन्होंने तो राइटिंग में रिजेक्ट किया, सदन में पढ़ा, उसके बाद उनके कहने पे अगर फिर ये एडजस्टमेंट मोशन को वो अगर मान्यता देते हैं तो आप समझिए ये लोगों का कितना प्रेशर 4 हफ्ते से उन पे था, इससे मालूम होगा।
However, the BJP has hit back. The party targeted the Congress Vice President, accusing the Congress of trying to promote him unsuccessfully.
How many times Srimati Sonia Gandhi will try to package and repackage Shri Rahul Gandhi? Under his leadership, Congress lost India. Under his leadership, Congress lost UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Bengal, Kashmir, Haryana, whatnot.
Crucial reforms bills, including one on GST, were stalled due to disruptions over the 3-week sitting. The government is still undecided on whether to go for a special session to seek passage of the bills. Congress is waiting for consultation. With inputs from Vishal Dahiya, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
The Reserve Bank of India is handing over a dividend of nearly 66,000 crore rupees to the government, the highest ever in its 80-year history. The payout is expected to go a long way in helping the government fight the fiscal deficit.
A 65,896 crore bonanza for the government. It comes as dividend from the RBI for the year 2014-15. According to the central bank, the figure was 526.79 billion for the year ending June 30th, 2014.
This year it is 65,896 crore. Last year also it was just 22% down than this. So it's actually a jump of 22% only, which is a surplus that has actually come about. So 100% is getting transferred.
The payment could help the government meet its fiscal deficit targets and also provide liquidity in the system so that interest rates remain low.
I think this is a great booster to help not only fiscal deficits, I would say probably interest rates, inflation, and I would say a big chunk like this, and which matches the budgeted 64,500 crores that were allocated, actually gives a fillip to the capex that is very largely being awaited to kickstart the economy.
As banker to the government, the RBI has several sources of income, from coupon payments on government securities to interest payments from borrowing banks and interest incomes on holding sovereign bonds. Every year, after meeting its expenses and keeping aside part of the total profits, the RBI transfers a substantial amount to the exchequer. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Now, the rupee finally recovered after 6 straight days of fall after the devaluation of the Chinese currency. After touching its day's low of 65.32 per dollar, the rupee ended at 64.99, aided by a rebound in the Indian equity markets. On Thursday, the rupee ended at 65.10, which marked its 6th fall in a row. Over 4% devaluation of the yuan over the last 3 days is the biggest reason for the sharp sell-off in the rupee this week. The markets as well saw recovery today. Sensex gained over 500 points, its biggest single-day rise in nearly 7 months, to reclaim the 28,000 mark. Well, time now for some more news and updates from around the country and nationwide. Deflationary trends continued for the 9th month in a row in July, with wholesale inflation plunging to a historic minus 4.05% on cheaper vegetables and fuel. This may prompt the RBI to cut interest rates ahead of the September 29th policy meet. The wholesale price index numbers follows retail inflation data, which had slipped to a record low of 3.78% in July. The Kochi International Airport is all set to become the first airport in the country to operate on solar power. Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy will inaugurate the Green Initiative, a 12-megawatt solar plant on the airport premises on the 18th of August. The solar power plant has been set up by Bosch Limited from Bangalore, and the work was completed in a short span of just 6 months. 13 pilgrims, including 6 women, were killed and 11 others injured when a van they were travelling in collided with a speeding truck on the highway near Jamshedpur. The injured are undergoing treatment at MGM Hospital. The victims are returning home after a pilgrimage tour to Puri. Some international news now. And the Greek Parliament has approved the €85 billion third financial rescue by foreign creditors in 5 years. The deal that introduces sweeping austerity measures in return for an international bailout must now be approved by the Eurozone finance ministers that meet later tonight.
Ψήφισαν συνολικά 297 βουλευτές. Επί της αρχής του σχεδίου νόμου, ναι, ψήφισαν 222 βουλευτές. Όχι, ψήφισαν 64 βουλευτές, παρόν ψήφισαν 11 βουλευτές.
After a tumultuous all-night debate,
Greek parliamentarians voted early on Friday to approve a new bailout deal aimed at keeping their debt-stricken country afloat. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras' government secured enough votes to win approval for the new bailout agreement. This despite Tsipras facing a rebellion within his Syriza party. But thanks to the support from pro-Euro opposition parties, the €85 billion bailout program was easily passed.
Και δεν μετανιώνω, κυρίες και κύριοι συνάδελφοι, ούτε που πάλεψα όσο κανείς, πιστεύω, δεν θέλω να δικήσω κανέναν, προκειμένου να υπερασπιστώ το δίκαιο του ελληνικού λαού, αυτό το δίκαιο που πίστευα κι εγώ.
The passage of the bill saw tempers flaring. The opposition demanded a political solution, even as over 40 hardliners from the Syriza party failed to toe the party line, voting against or abstaining. This has raised the odds that the government could be toppled. There are also indications that Tsipras will call a confidence vote in parliament after Greece makes a debt payment to the ECB on 20th of August. If he loses that, a snap election could be needed.
They're splitting, they're going to split, so we need to form some sort of stable political environment so that the government can fulfill its imminent obligations, and then, if need be, elections.
With the bill's passage, a meeting of Eurozone ministers in Brussels today must now approve the deal so that aid can be disbursed. Athens has to make a €3.2 billion debt repayment to the European Central Bank on 20th of August. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, some sports. In India need 153 more runs to win the first test at Galle in Sri Lanka, facing a modest target of 176 in the second innings. The visitors lost opener Rahul Lokesh early to finish the third day at 23 for 1. Earlier, Sri Lanka seemed to be heading towards an innings defeat with the top order back in the pavilion before reaching the 100 mark. A superb century by Dinesh Chandimal helped put the hosts put up a respectable total. Chandimal remained unbeaten on 164 as Sri Lanka put up 367 in their second innings. The spinners did the damage once more, with Ashwin picking up 4 wickets, a total of 10 for him in the match. Amit Mishra took 3, while Harbhajan and Varun Aaron and Ishant Sharma took a wicket each. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.